Alright then gang, so now we've created this function right here, which in turn calls this function, which is responsible for showing the bottom sheet, and on that at the minute we just have this text widget, so it looks something like this. And instead we'd like a form here so a user can update their preferences, and once they do that, it's reflected in real time here on the home screen. So what I'm going to do is, instead of showing the text widget here, show a different widget, and we're going to externalize that in a different file so it doesn't get too messy in this file. So if we open up the file tree inside home, I'm going to create one more file, and this is going to be called settings_form. So settings_form ... Okay. So the first thing we need to do in here is import a couple of things. I'm going to import the material, first of all, library, so import material like so. And then secondly, I'm going to import the constants file, which is down here, because we're going to use this for some text input decoration later on. So let me now go over here and import that. So import, and it's in the shared folder, and it's the constants file. Okay, so now we have those two, we can create some kind of widget, and this is going to be a stateful widget because we're going to keep track of what a user types in or selects in the different form fields. So let me create that stateful widget, stful tab, and this is going to be called settings form. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to copy and paste a few things from my repo into this widget because I don't want you to watch me type all this out from scratch. We've already covered these kind of things and it would just waste your time and mine. So instead, I'm just going to copy and paste a few things and explain them as I do it. So first of all, I'm going to copy a couple of lines here, and they are this form key. So we're going to be using a form inside this widget, and for that we're going to need a global key. So we'll hook this up with a form widget down here in a minute. Next we have a final property, which is a list of strings called sugars, and this is basically going to be the values that a user can select from a drop down to choose how many sugars they want. So they can have 0, 1, 2, 3 or 4. Highly doubt it that they're going to have more than 4 sugars in their brew. If they do, they need to see a dentist. So they're the options for sugars. The next thing I want to paste in here are just 3 more properties which are going to be used to keep track of the different form values. So we're going to have a string which is current name, and these are all private by the way. So when a user types into the input field for the name, it's going to be stored inside this property. Current sugars, whatever they select from the drop down, which is going to be one of these values, will be stored in current sugars, and that's why these are all strings by the way. And then we have current strength, which is going to be an integer, and they're going to use a slider to select that, and we'll see that in the next video, not this one. So now we have those values right here. The next thing to do is actually build up this widget tree. So this is going to be a form widget, and inside this form we want to first of all declare the key. So we'll say key, and that's going to be the form key that we created up here. Okay, so that's the first property. The second property is the child widget, and that child is going to be a column because we're going to have several different form fields in this form, and they're going to be stacked on top of each other. So this column needs a children property, which is a list of widgets. So there's going to be several different things inside this list of widgets. And again, I'm going to copy and paste a couple of things first of all before we start on the drop down, which we've not seen how to do yet. So first of all, I'm going to paste in a text widget, and this is basically the title of the form. So update your brew settings, then we have a style property, which is text style, and we just set the font size to be 18 pixels. Nothing complex there so far. And in fact, what I'm going to do is save this now. And before we go any further, I'm going to go to the home widget over here so we can start to preview this as we go along. And I'm going to replace this text widget with the settings form widget. So settings, and it's this one right here. So I'm going to press tab to auto import that for me as well. And we should see it imported at the top. We do. Save this. And now if I come over here and press this, we can now see we have this thing over here instead of the text widget we had before. Okay, so after this text, what do we want? Well, I'm going to just add in a sized box. So sized box, just to give us some breathing room. And inside here, we'll specify a height of 20 pixels, like so. Okay, the next thing we want is a text form field. And we've seen how to do these before, so I am just going to copy and paste this one from my repo again, and this is going to be for the name. So you see right here, we have a text input decoration in the decoration property, and we can do that because we imported this thing over here, constants, right? So we know now that that is going to look pretty good. And then we have a validator, which is making sure we have a value inside this form field when we submit. If not, it's going to say, please enter a name. And on changed, all we're doing is setting the state to update the current name property equal to the value currently inside the form field. So that's all we're doing. This is the current name right here. So we're updating that when we change the form field. So if I save now, we should be able to see that one right here. And I can type in that. That works, okay? So the next thing we want to do is a sized box, just to give us some more space after this form field. So let's do that. And the height is going to be 20 pixels. Now after this is going to come the drop down. So let me just do a comment to say the drop down will be here, right? And then after that, we're going to do some kind of slider. And that slider is going to be for the strength. And then after the slider, we're going to have a button at the bottom. So let me just create that button first of all. I'm going to grab this from my repo once again and paste it in here. So we have a raised button. We give it a color of pink. The child is a text widget which says update because they're updating their preferences. The style is just to give the text color a color of white. Then we have an onPressed property right here, which is a function. It's asynchronous because in the future we'll be communicating with Firebase to update the record in Firestore. All we're doing at the minute though is just printing the values of current name, current sugars and current strength, which are going to be keeping track of what a user types or selects in these different form fields. So if I save this right now, we can see we have that form field and we have the update button, and in between we're going to have a drop down and a slider. So now if I try to update, let me just open up the terminal and go to debug console, and down here at the bottom if I click update, we're going to see this value but also null and null, and that's because we've not updated these two things yet, only the current name. So now we're going to work on the drop down for the sugars. Now we already said we had these values that we want to show in the drop down, but how do we actually create this drop down? Well, to do this we're going to use a new widget that we've not seen yet, and this is called a drop down button form field. So let me create this drop down button form field. It's down here. Okay, and inside this widget we need to specify a few different things. First of all, we need to say what items are going to be in this, and the value of this needs to be a list of drop down menu item widgets. So what we're going to do is we're going to map through the sugars, and for each item in the sugars, which are these by the way, we're going to return a drop down menu item widget which has that particular value. So one for each one of these values. So let me say in here items is sugars.map. So we're mapping through these, and for each one we fire a function and we take in the sugar, the particular value of each iteration that we go through this, so the sugar, and then inside what we're going to do is return something, and the thing we're going to return is a drop down menu item. Is it here? Yeah, drop down menu item. So inside the drop down menu item we need to then say two different things. First of all, the value. So value is going to be sugar, the particular sugar that we're currently iterating. And the second thing we need to specify is a child, which is what is actually shown in the drop down menu item, and that is going to be a text widget. And inside here all we're going to do is output a string. We're going to output the sugar variable, so the current sugar we're iterating, and then after that we're going to say sugars. So that could be 0 sugars, 1 sugars, 2 sugars, etc. Okay, so that is pretty much it for now. In fact, no, it's not. We have to turn this into a list. So at the minute this is going to return an iterable, but this expects the value to be a list. So we need to say to list like so, and that is fine now. Except, oops, I've placed it in the wrong place. It shouldn't be on the drop down menu item. It should be on this thing right here where we use the map function. So let me place it here like so. Okay, so if I save this now and look over here, we have a drop down menu, and if I open this or click it, we can see these different values. It's going a little slow for me at the minute. There we go. We see these different values now. So it's cycling through the different values firing a function for each one and returning a drop-down menu item for each one. Now, this value property right here, this is the value. When they select something, 3 sugars, for example, the value that they have actually selected is not the thing that shows, it's the thing that is getting updated. So this over here, current sugars, will then become whatever the value of sugar is. So either 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay, it's not the thing that's shown, it's the actual value that we keep track of, because that's what we're going to store in the database. Okay, this is the thing that shows in the dropdown. Now, the next property we need on this drop-down button form field is an unchanged property as well. Much like we have an unchanged property here that updates the current name, we need the same thing down here for this item as well. So let me copy this, and after items, I'm going to paste this in, and this time we're going to update current sugars and set it equal to the value. So that's this thing, remember, right here. So if they select now, for example, over here, 3 sugars, then the value is going to be 3, and that's now going to be stored in current sugars up here. Now, I can demo that by opening up the terminal and then going to debug console, and if I update now, oops, it's still null, but if we refresh, let me try this again, and then go to settings, and then typing in something like Sean, pressing the tick, and then going to this thing over here, to sugars, and now if I open up the debug console and go to the bottom, press update, then we can see Sean, 2, and null. So this has been tracked now, okay? Now, one thing that's not quite right is that the value doesn't show in the form field after we've selected it. So how do we do this? How do we actually show what we've selected? Well, what we could do if we scroll down here is add onto this widget right here another property, and this property is going to be a value property. So don't get this mixed up with the value inside the drop down menu item. This value tracks the actual value of what they select. This one is the value of the drop down button form field in itself. So what I'm going to do now is set this equal to current sugars. Now, if current sugars has not been selected yet, I'm going to supply a fallback value, and that is going to be 0. Okay, so at the beginning, current sugars is null, so I'm going to supply a fallback option, which is 0 to begin with. So if I save this now and refresh over here, now we can go to settings, and we got a little error there, but don't worry, we'll sort the errors out later. We can see to begin with, it's 0 sugars. Okay. So now if I update my name and say Sean, for example, and then choose the sugars again, say I go to 3 sugars, it updates over here. I'm going to open up the debug console so we can see this, press update, and we can see Sean and 3. So now everything is working with this field, and we can see we can track these 2 values now, the name and the sugars. There's one more thing I want to do with this, and that is to make it look a bit nicer. So we can also apply a decoration to this widget as well, and I can actually use the same input decoration as the text form field because a lot of the same properties apply. So I'm just going to use that, press save, and it looks a lot better now. Okay, so there we go, we have 2 of our form fields sorted. Next I'm going to show you how we can use a slider to control the strength.